All right, let's talk about a moment that every single developer, every one of us has felt. You get handed a task, a bug fix, maybe a whole new feature, and it's in a language you've never touched before. Your stomach just drops, right? What do you even do? Well, today, we're going to break down exactly how to handle that, using AI not just as a crutch, but as a genuine guide.
And this sentence? This is where it all begins. I don't know Go. A junior developer named Timothy said this, but who hasn't said some version of this in an office somewhere? It's honest, it's a little bit scary, and it's the start of a challenge that we all face sooner or later.
So, here's the setup. Timothy needs to add some retry logic to a service that's written in Go. Now, he can kind of squint and make out what's happening, but the details, the syntax, these things called Go routines, he has absolutely zero confidence. And look, this isn't just Timothy's problem. This is a universal developer experience.
So what's his first move? Well, pretty much what any of us would do these days. He copies the code, pastes it into an AI assistant, and basically asks, what in the world is this thing doing? And you know what? That is a fantastic first move. It's like getting the map of the area before you try to wander through the jungle.
Okay, but this is where that cold sweat starts to kick in. The AI gives him a beautiful, clear explanation. The concept makes total sense. But understanding what to do and actually doing it in a language that feels like Martian, well, that's a whole different ballgame. And that's the gap we're trying to bridge today.
This is where Timothy's senior colleague, Margaret, comes in and just hits the nail on the head. She points out that the real problem isn't about memorizing syntax. You can always look that up. The real challenge is that you have no intuition. You haven't built that spidey sense yet that tingles when something about the code just feels wrong.
This chart just lays it out perfectly. In a language you know, you've got instincts, right? You have a feel for it. Your confidence is calibrated from years of experience. But in a new one, you're just looking at shapes on a screen. A brilliant idea and a disastrous one look almost identical. You are totally flying blind.
Yeah, this quote from Margaret just says it all. Without that deep well of experience, you really can't tell the difference between a solution that's solid as a rock and one that's going to crumble under the slightest pressure. You're not really understanding, you're just matching patterns. I know, it sounds a little grim, but don't worry, you are not alone out there. Margaret lays out a strategy for Timothy. She calls them the 3 safety nets, things you can lean on when your own gut feeling just isn't there. This is how you move from being frozen with anxiety to actually taking action.
So what are they? First, you've got the language's own built-in tools, like the compiler. Second, you have the project's existing test suite. That's your ground truth. And third, and this is the big one, is a major shift in how you use your AI, turning it from a simple code machine into your own personal tutor.
All right, safety net number 1, the compiler. This is your first line of defense. It's great. It'll yell at you if you get a type wrong or misuse a basic function. But, and this is so important, the compiler only catches structural mistakes. It doesn't see logical ones. It's like, it'll tell you your bricks are laid incorrectly, but it won't tell you that you forgot to build a door.
And since we're on the topic of Go, Margaret recommends a couple extra tools. There's Go Vet, which is kind of like a spell checker for common tricky code mistakes. And then there's Go Test Race, which is, oh my gosh, an absolute lifesaver. It actually spots those sneaky concurrency bugs for you, the ones that are almost impossible to see just by looking.
Okay, on to safety net number 2, the existing tests. Think of the test suite as a contract written in code. Before you change anything, run them. They should all be green. Then, after you make your change, run them again. See any red? Uh-oh, you've broken the contract. It is the most reliable, unbiased feedback you can get when you can't trust your own instincts. And now for number 3. This one is a real game changer, but it requires you to think a little differently. Instead of just asking the AI, give me the solution, do this first. Ask it to teach you the concept. Say something like, hey, teach me about error handling in Go. Give me a tiny example I can run and play with. You mess with it, you break it, you understand it. Then you ask it to help you with your real problem.
So we have our safety nets in place. That's great. But to use them effectively, we have to be brutally honest about what the AI can't do. Seriously, acknowledging its limits is just as important as knowing its strengths. It's the key to using it safely.
And here is the single most important distinction. An AI can give you code that is syntactically correct. It can give you code that works. What it cannot give you is judgment. That wisdom, that context, that gut feeling that only comes from experience. And AI just doesn't have it.
This quote just nails it.
The AI can write good, high-quality Go code, but it cannot write your team's Go. It has no idea about the specific style, the unwritten rules, the little quirks of the codebase you're working on. Your solution could be technically perfect, but still get sent back because it just doesn't fit.
So what kind of judgment is it missing? Well, things like that weird variable naming convention your team has. It doesn't know that a certain pattern, while it looks fine, performs really poorly in your system under heavy load. And yeah, it can absolutely miss those incredibly subtle concurrency bugs that only show up on a Tuesday when the moon is full.
So how do you work around that? You have to get specific. Don't ask a lazy question like, is this code okay? You have to ask the hard questions directly. Review this code specifically for race conditions. Have I handled closing these channels and managing these Go routine life cycles correctly? Vague prompts get you vague answers. Sharp prompts get you sharp analysis.
All of this points to a pretty profound shift in how we should be thinking about these tools. We need to move away from using them as just quick fix machines and move towards a more collaborative, more educational relationship with our AI assistants.
This chart really captures that entire mental shift. Most people use AI like a vending machine. You put in a problem, you get out a solution. And that's fine, but the real power comes when you treat it like a patient tutor. You give it the problem? Sure, but you also give it context, and you demand not just a solution, but an explanation.
And this phrase right here is the key takeaway for this whole thing. Ask it to teach while it solves. That simple shift in your approach transforms a one-time transaction into a genuine learning opportunity. The goal isn't just to close the ticket, it's to make sure that the next time you see a Go file, you're a little more confident, and you've built a little more of that instinct.
Margaret leaves Timothy with one last crucial piece of advice, and this one's all about professionalism. When you submit your code for review, just be upfront about it. Put a note right at the top. Hey, I'm new to Go, so please be extra critical of the concurrency patterns here. Don't hide your inexperience. It's not a weakness, it's a signal to your teammates to look at your code with the right kind of attention.
And that really reframes the whole experience, doesn't it? This situation, working in a language you don't know, it's not a personal failure. It's not something to be ashamed of or to hide. It is simply a condition of the job. And it's a condition that needs to be managed carefully, honestly, and with the right tools and strategies. So we'll end on this. The AI can give you the code, but only time and attention and practice can give you the instincts. And knowing the difference between those two things, well, that's how you stay out of trouble until those instincts finally arrive.